How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. If you watch one of my recent videos, you know it's not always a guarantee when a multiple-time All-Star still doesn't have what it takes to make the Hall of Fame. In one case, there was even one 8-time NBA All-Star that will likely never make the Hall. If you haven't watched that video yet, just click on the link above, or you can find it in the description below. But all the players in this video I'm about to mention made the Hall of Fame. International players who paved the way for their countries. Just to clarify, I'm not going to be counting any current NBA players, retired players only. With that said, here are the fewest NBA All-Star appearances from former players to still make the Hall of Fame. Starting with 3-time All-Stars, 4 of them in the Hall of Fame. 1. Former Laker Jamal Wilkes, the 6'6" small forward, spent 8 seasons in the City of Angels. First 3 with the Warriors. Won a title as a rookie as a second option for Rick Barry, putting up 14 and 8. Added the Rookie of the Year to his name. A deadly shooter, reliable on the glass and can defend. Being one of the key players on the UCLA team with an 88-game win streak adds to his amazing basketball career. An absolute winner at all levels. Had an unorthodox jumper. Wilkes averaged 20 points in his second championship in 1980. When Jabbar went down, everybody remembers Magic's 42-point Game 6, but forgot about Jamal Wilkes netting in a career-high 37 points in the game, stepping up big. Only real diehard NBA fans like me would know these things. Wilkes' best season, 22.6 points in 81. His second All-Star appearance, also made it in 83. Part of the Showtime Lakers squad. Wilkes a total of 4 NBA championships, 2 all-defensive teams. Had his number 52 jersey retired by the Lakers. It was an absolute travesty. Wilkes retired as a member of the Clippers after playing just 13 games for them in the 86 season. That was unnecessary. Mentioning a forgotten what-if great, absolutely necessary. Maurice Stokes, the 6'7" power forward, played just 3 seasons in the NBA. Rookie of the Year winner. Played for Rochester/Cincinnati, averaged over 16 and 17 for his career, but forced to retire due to illness. Tragic story. On March 12, 1958, the last game of the regular season, Stokes was knocked unconscious driving to the basket, struck his head, and fell on the court. He did play in the playoff 3 days later, but became ill, later suffered a seizure, and left permanently paralyzed, diagnosed with a brain injury. Teammate Jack Twyman became his legal guardian, but Stokes' condition got worse over time and died at just 36 years old from a heart attack in 1970. If it wasn't for the tragic events, Stokes might have ended up one of the all-time greats. In honor of remembrance, Stokes was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2004. Charlie Scott, 3-time All-Star with the Phoenix Suns from 73 to 75, former 2-time All-Star with the ABA, the 6'5" combo guard was a monster in all 3 of his All-Star appearances, averaged 25, 4, and 5 at the time. Not only did he break down defenders, but he broke down barriers, becoming the first ever African-American UNC scholarship athlete at Chapel Hill, can score from the outside or take it in, well-rounded game on both ends, an important piece for the 76 Celtics title team, a spectacular 8 seasons in the NBA. George McGinnis, 3-time All-Star with the ABA, 3 with the NBA, former ABA MVP, one of the best players in the American Basketball Association, averaged over 25 and 13. At power forward, averaged 22, 11 and a half boards, 4 assists, 2 steals his first 4 NBA seasons. Second option behind Dr. J for Philly in the mid to late 70s. Known for his incredible physique at 6'8", 235 as a teenager. Super aggressive player, but a turnover machine until LeBron came along. McGinnis was the original forward with that size, strength, athleticism, and physical abilities. On to the 2-time All-Stars. Jerry Sloan, who was the winningest head coach in NBA history before Pop broke it in early 2019. Despite never winning a title, his basketball genius and pick-and-roll play, one of the most unstoppable fundamentals all time. An All-Star with the Bulls in 67 and 69. The 6'5" shooting guard, also super scrappy, made tons of hustle plays. 6 defensive teams, made the Hall for his coaching in 2009. Joe Fulks, one of the pioneers in NBA history, 8 seasons. Remember, the NBA did not have an All-Star game till 1951. Fulks' first 4 seasons would have likely had 3 more All-Stars to his name. Won a title the first year of league's existence, the first ever scoring champ, averaged 26 in the first finals, would have been the first finals MVP if the award was held the very first year. Jumping Joe set the standard for the league, recorded 63 points in a single game draw in 1949, can shoot it from anywhere. NBA defenses were revolved around him, the league's first ever true superstar. Retired at 32, slowed down heavily due to too much drinking. Unfortunately, his life was cut short, killed by his girlfriend's son on March 20th, 1976. Bill Walton, despite being a two-time All-Star, was named one of the 50 greatest players in '97, was gonna go down as one of the all-time greats before his body broke down, had multiple surgeries from almost every part of his body, led the Blazers to the title in only his third season, put up nearly 19-15 over 3 blocks, one of the best passing bigs all time, and a defensive anchor, made the All-Star team in '77 and '78, a Finals MVP and regular season MVP, all before turning 26, ended up winning 6-man for the '86 Celtics, 2 All-NBA teams, 2 defensive teams, a classic commentator, extremely funny calling Pac-12 games these days. Despite a career filled with injuries, Walton's arguably the second greatest college player the NCAA has ever seen. Dennis Rodman, also a 2-time All-Star, one of the most unique people the world has ever seen. The one was a rebounding specialist, led the league in boards 7 times, averaged almost 19 in '92, over 13 for his career, almost twice as many rebounds as points, one of the most versatile defenders the game has ever seen, hustles like a maniac, doesn't jump the highest, but super quick reaction, won 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, combined with 5 titles, pound for pound, nobody at 6'7" was a better rebounder than Rodman. The fact that he holds 5 of the 8 highest rebound averages in a season dating back to '73, remarkable. The heart of a winner with even greater intensity at the parties. The real question is whether Rodman grabbed more boards on an average game night, or did he take more shots at the clubs after the game? Only he knows that answer. On to the one-time All-Stars. Don Barstow, first African American to play in the US Olympic team, first to also play in the NBA All-Star game in 1953, only 4 seasons in the league, a pioneer, passed away at 69, but inducted in the class of 2012. Vlade Divac, many of you probably wondering why is he in the Hall, made only 1 All-Star team as a replacement in 2001, a 12-8 guy, the 7-1 Serbian prodigy, one of the first group of European players to transfer to the NBA, great mobility and a terrific playmaker, had the mid-range game going, helped his team win the silver medal in the '88 Olympics, won gold at the 1990 and 2002 World Championships, helped change his countrymen on how they view the game, will forever be linked to the Kobe trade, one of the first 7-footers to step out and shoot the 3. Calvin Murphy, listed at 5'9", spent his entire career with the Rockets, averaged 18 points, 4.5 assists, shot over 89% from the line, 5 seasons averaging over 20 plus, one of the key players for the '81 Finals Rockets team. Forever will be known for his small stature, averaged 33 points in college. Although he never won a title, you could argue there's a few players still not in the Hall that's more worthy. Nat Clifton, also from the early times, his career numbers 10 and 8, one-time All-Star, the first ever African American to sign a contract with the NBA. It's important to know these milestones as a diehard NBA fan, nicknamed Sweetwater because of his love for pop soda. The NBA in the beginning of times was a predominantly white league, which kept him out from getting a chance to becoming a bigger star. Some things very important to share for Black History Month. After retirement, Clifton struggled financially as a cab driver. When he retired from the league, the NBA did not have any pensions for players yet. Remember, guys weren't making millions back then like they are today. Players still had to work jobs during off-season, treated poorly and overlooked, dealt with many racial problems along the way, including times where he was forced to stay at different hotels away from his white teammates, taunted by fans constantly. Plays also weren't drawn up for him as often. Many African American kids growing up in the 50s saw Clifton as a hero, paving the way for thousands along the way. Bill Bradley, a genius graduate from Princeton, declined all 75 athletic scholarships, won gold medal in the '64 Olympics, NCAA Player of the Year in '65, attended Oxford after graduating, delaying his NBA debut by 2 years, a key player for the Knicks' 2 title teams, spent all 10 seasons in the Big Apple, one of 2 players alongside a future Hall of Famer Manu Ginobili to have won a EuroLeague title, NBA title, and Olympic gold medal. Because of all those fees, I can see why Bradley got in the Hall. After retirement, Bradley's more known for his American politics than being an NBA Hall of Famer. Got a seat in the Senate in the state of New Jersey from 1979 to 97, even tried to run for President of the United States in 2000 as part of the Democratic Party, came up short to party nominee Al Gore, who lost to George Bush. Also worked as a consultant, investment banker, even published 6 different books, having plenty of success in all areas of his life. Now to the zero-time All-Stars. Chuck Cooper, the first African American to be drafted by the NBA, inducted in 2019, spent 7 seasons as a role player. Dino Radja played 4 seasons in the NBA, but seeing his overall basketball accomplishments, you can see why he's in the Hall. One of the best European players all time, a decorated EuroLeague champion, can do it all at 6'11", way ahead of his time, a very good NBA player too, a true winner in the early days, his basketball accomplishments in many countries. Reading all of it would just take me too long. Sarunas Marciulionis, 7 seasons in the NBA during the 90s, averaged 13 points at 6'5", way ahead of his time, forever known for upsetting Team USA in the '88 Olympics, dominating some all-time greats, broke all the stereotypes of how European players were being portrayed in the earlier days, proved he had game. 4 seasons with Golden State, averaged 19 points for the '92 Warriors, another European pioneer, opened many players' eyes, had a very similar playing style to Goran Dragic. Drazen Petrovic played like a star and one of the best 2 guards during the big man era, averaged over 22 a game his final season. At age 28, was on the verge of becoming a legit all-star before his tragic passing in June of '93. Another pioneer who was counted out by the Blazers, featured in one of the best basketball documentaries called Once Brothers, 30 for 30, highly recommended. Petrovic, considered a critical part of present-day successful European players who transitioned to the NBA, players from other countries simply getting better every decade. Arvydas Sabonis, one of the best players all time in Europe, the best player in all of Europe before his arrival to the NBA, an absolute legend. Another long list of accomplishments, the 7'3" big was a freak of nature, had all the skill sets in the world, an excellent passer, can handle the ball. Back in the 80s, played for the Soviet Unions. He got very little coverage in the NBA because the 2 countries had beef. Some believe if he came to the NBA at age 21, might have ended up a top 10 player all time. Yes, he was that good. Wasn't allowed to join the Hawks in '85, but because he wasn't 21 yet, he couldn't fly to the NBA from Europe, having difficulty traveling to the US, was overtrained in Europe, had injuries, was treated poorly, won gold in the '88 Olympics, sadly suffered an Achilles tear in Europe, was already 31 years old when he got to the NBA, nowhere near the same player but still effective, was even the best player for a few years in Portland, the biggest what if in NBA history. 20 years into the future, his son, Domantas, a flat-out star for the Pacers, one of the best big men today, carrying his father's legacy. Bob Halbrates, 5 seasons in the league, an NCAA legend, not that impressive of a resume, I have no idea why he's in. Frank Ramsey, a 6'5" shooting guard, averaged 13.5 points, 5.5 rebounds, won 7 titles for the Celtics. Coach Red Auerbach used Ramsey as the first real effective 6-man, perhaps he could have been a multiple-time All-Star for a different team. Others include Stan Izzo, a 1-time All-Star in the NBA but 6 in the ABA, so you can see why he really was a multiple-time All-Star. Zilmo Beatty, 2-time All-Star with the NBA but 3 with the ABA, while Casey Jones, Buddy Jeanette, and Al Civic never made a single All-Star team as players, but all amazing head coaches. I also believe former 2-time All-Stars Draymond Green and Marc Gasol will eventually make the Hall. Draymond because of his championships and presence, Marc Gasol because of his international play, while Manu Ginobili, also a former 2-time All-Star, will eventually make the Hall. Which one of these guys on the video do you believe was not deserving to make it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe for more content, more good stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.